Let's get ready to rumble! What a performance that was!
All right, thank you so much for joining us on Sportville this lovely Sunday afternoon. My name is Frank Ilaboya. It's my pleasure to welcome you to another exciting episode. Of course, we have so much for you on the show today. Very loaded. Everybody's in the house. Judge Aluo is back from his holiday. Ubani is here. Of course, we also have Francisca Nwobodo joining us today, at least to add the female flavor to the show. I'll be talking about the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Did you read, for instance, what the coach said, that Super Falcons qualification for the next stage is his target? Did you read that? So funny indeed. We'll talk about that on the show today. Of course, we also have the photograph of the week for you, where athletes and officials, showcase what they have, within the week. In part 2, we talk about the Nigerian League. Of course, resuming full swing this weekend, and action all over the federation is going to get heated up. All right, let's start the show now. Of course, we start with the photograph of the week. When we come back, we talk about Super Falcons, we talk about the league. Of course, we talk about other things that are making sports so funny this weekend.
She's a wandering light in the darkness. She's beautiful. Oh, she's a superstar.
Morning, Esther.
She never let her mama down. She's beautiful. She know they fear. She know they ever got a hand for her.
No phones at the table, please. Esther. I love you too.
Got everything? Don't forget I'll pick you at 4.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back. It's still Sportsville. If you are just joining us, of course, we are just starting the show now, full blast. I hope you enjoyed those wonderful photographs, pictures of the week, athletes and officials where we celebrate them. Okay, my guests are right now. Tony Ubani is here. As always, Tony, how are you doing today?
Thank you so much, Frank, and of course, thanks to our esteemed viewers. It's another weekend indeed. We are set, Frank. We are set. Little program like you said, and then finally, George Aluo is back from the village. We are getting afraid, that perhaps something bad has happened.
He was kidnapped.
Yes, something bad. I don't know. It's kidnap comes in many stages.
All right, of course, I told that we have a female favor to the show today. Francisca Nwobodo is here, looking great. How are you doing, Francisca?
I'm very well, thank you. I feel glad to be here again. Happy New Year to our viewers out there.
In the midst of big guys.
in the midst of the most high.
All right, let's welcome Georgina, George Aluo, all the way from Owerri. George, welcome back. Happy New Year. I hope everything went well.
Thank you very much, Frank. Yes, not just Owerri, but Ngopana to be precise.
We're getting worried that something must have...
No, Ngopana is very safe, I can assure you.
Very peaceful.
Very peaceful and safe. And to our viewers, I say Happy New Year.
All right, George is here. Like I said, it's going to be a full blast today. The house is full. I'll be talking about, the Super Falcons. Before then, let's look at the photograph of the week. Enyema now is a coach trainer, a goalkeeper trainer in his new club in France. And people are saying that will there be a better choice, as a goalkeeper trainer in Super Eagles? I know we have Ikechukwu there.
Yeah, Frank, I think it's a very good thing. Let's say congratulations to him first. And honestly, I think that in goalkeeping, it's really very arguable if you begin to talk about Enyema and then talk about, Ikechukwu. But I think that...
Are you saying Enyema is better? That's what you're saying?
No, I think that the exposure that Enyema has gotten now, and he's still very recent compared to, Ikechukwu. But I think it's a very good thing that Enyema has gotten to that level. Ikechukwu is still handling the job. And I don't think there is any vacancy yet for Vincent Enyeama.
Yes, Francisca, you agree?
To some sort of level, I want to agree with him. On the other side, because I'm speaking like a younger person, Ikechukwu has always been there. I would rather prefer he's been given an opportunity.
He's already there. People are just saying that Enyema would have been better. That's what we are saying.
That's what I'm saying. Perhaps he should have still been there, if you ask me. And let's see, maybe his own. Yes, some people will say in experience and everything, Ikechukwu has much experience than him. But when we weigh it, he's fresher. Like, you know what it means to be a fresher someone. So I would have preferred
George, quickly, how do you want to react to this? I don't want to say the argument, because within the week, people have been talking about, God, why not give Enyema the job? He would have been a better goalkeeper trainer.
Because Enyema has become a coach, just because he has qualified. So we should just change goalkeeper trainer because
just like that.
No, it doesn't make sense, my brother. Things are not done that way. Ikechukwu is doing a good job, and I don't think we should just call for change just for the sake of change.
Okay, let's leave UK now, okay? But we're having goalkeeping issues in Nigeria.
It has nothing to do with goalkeeper.
No, and that's upset. I said, let us change it now. I said, are you worried about that, George?
I'm worried about that, and it has to do with the quality of goalkeepers.
Okay, that is George for you. Welcome back once again. Like I told you, our main topic today is the Super Falcons of Nigeria. We are going to the World Cup in Australia, and the coach is saying that our target or his target is just to qualify for the group stage. And everybody is asking, is that where the Super Falcons have to be after being Africa champion for more than 9 years, after being to the World Cup? We'll take the short break now. Courtesy of one expert, we are here today. I will talk about this very, very important topic that everybody is talking about after the short up.
My name is Gloria Bonner, Super Falcon defender. Keep watching Sportville.
Welcome back. It's still Sportville. Now we're going straight to our main discussion segment, and it's about the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Within the week, the coach came up and said that, well, his target for the World Cup is just for the Super Falcons to qualify, for the group stage. Tony, everybody's talking about it. Is that a target for Super Falcons or for Randy?
Frankly, I must say that, it hit me below the belt, to hear the coach say that, knowing that in war, I think that everybody who is going to war must always be ready to be the winner.
I can see Francisca is angry. Just hold on, don't worry. Let me go to George. George, are you okay with that statement?
Very much.
Are you surprised?
I'm not surprised.
Why?
I think Wardrum is only being realistic. Frank, maybe, just maybe, you are looking at the Super Falcons of 20 years ago. You've forgotten that when Super Falcons qualified for the quarterfinals of the World Cup, the setting of Nigerian football is not the same with today. We've lost it, even at the African level. Look at the last Cup of Nations. We couldn't win in Morocco.
Who took us there?
It is Randy Wardrum. But that is not the issue. The issue is that our football has gone down.
What is the job of the coach? What is the job of the coach?
The coach cannot do a magic in
what is the job of the coach?
And Frank, I'm telling you that you are looking at Nigerian football from the 10 years back.
Why did you have to bring a Randy?
He is doing his very best. So for me, even qualifying from the group stage when you are not African champion is even a realistic target for him. So maybe, like I said, you are looking at the Super Falcons of 10, 20 years ago, but we have been conquered even in Africa where we held sway. So now our football locally has gone down. We do not have the players, the quality of players. So what do you think Randy would do? He wouldn't do any magic. So realistically, if he has set a group stage target for himself, I don't think that is a bad one.
Francisca, are you?
This is quite interesting because I'm going to be flipping from both ends. But first off, I'll start up with this one. I feel for Randy, he has come to understand what the system is all about. And he has come to realize that, oh, it's actually a system where I can do anything and get out with it. That's what I feel. And that's the reason why he has come out to say that, you know, it's just the group stage.
So the systems allow that. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely. That is what it is. Because if it's not what it is, then he should say to himself that I want to win the World Cup. The just concluded male counterpart World Cup. We saw what the Argentina coach did. It was a target for him. And at the end of the day, he was able to achieve that target. Perhaps NFF might have said to him, I don't know.
No, okay, now let me take you there. George said that the Super Falcons of 10 years ago is quite different from today. That today is the shadow of what they had 10 years ago. You agree?
I agree with him, absolutely, because the system does not sometimes doesn't give the coaches what it means. And at some point, they feel like, oh, the system even doesn't support accountability at all. So whatever I want to do, whatever I want to say, I say. And that's the reason why he has come out to say, you know what, I'm just going to qualify you people for out of the group stage.
And people are clapping for him.
People are clapping for him.
Tony, so Super Falcons, are they so bad now that we are talking of qualify for the group stage? Are they so bad, Tony?
Frank, when you talk about people clapping for him, I'm not among the people that clap for him. I think the man should be condemned instead of
no, the Super Falcons are they so bad now?
Frank, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I do not see this issue of Super Falcons. And of course, we still have players that play at very, very good clubs out there in Europe. I do not know who has dropped or somebody that has made Super Falcons.
The ages of these
Super
players,
Falcons that have.
No, what I'm saying, when you talk about ages,
Frank,
so what is the job of the coach?
Aging
He has spent almost a year plus here in Nigeria.
Frank,
So
let me just tell you, we have Monday Gift. When I think he's one of the best home-based players that we have seen.
We have
somebody that came up from.
We have Monday Gift in Nigeria.
She's no longer home now.
I know she's no longer she's no longer home. But that girl was on fire, and because of the fact that Randy Wardrum does not know anybody. Randy Wardrum wants already made materials, people that she knows that play in Europe and all that. You cannot give what you don't have. You cannot be living in America and then know the players better. So that's what I'm saying is that in essence,
all African countries have taken over from us. Morocco has developed their women's football to a level where they've overtaken Nigeria. South Africa has developed where they've overtaken Nigeria.
I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you a question, George.
See, there's something
just hang on. Okay. Now, in terms of domestic league, are you saying that we don't have a robust women league in Nigeria?
We don't. The South African league is better.
I'm talking about women league now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I said the South African women league is better than our league. The Moroccan women's league is better than our league.
In terms of what?
In terms of payment, in terms of organization, in terms of planning, and we've even seen it.
So we don't have talent at home.
Oh no, it's not. It has nothing to do with talent. We've got the talent, but we don't have the organization. We don't.
All right, let's take you now straight to Abuja. We're talking to one man today who's also into this women football game, talking about Barrister, Ede, the owner of Niger Racha. Of course, he followed that team. They have been growing steadily over the years. Thank you so much for joining us on Sportville this afternoon.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, how will you react to Randy Wardrum's statement that the target for the Super Falcons is to qualify just for the group stage? How will you want to react to that?
Well, I know that football is the game of hope and assurances, and that is exactly what the coach is doing, giving us the assurance that with what he has been able to put in place, he will be able to do far better than they have ever done, coming from the heels of the just concluded Nations Cup that we didn't do so excellently well. Hopefully, just like the coach had alluded to, we look forward to a very robust outing of the Super Falcons. And if they do us proud, at least the Ibrahim Gusso-led NFF will be bold enough to hit their chest to see that they are beginning to deliver on the deliverables that they promised.
Okay, now what are those changes you think needs to happen in the team for us to do well at the World Cup?
Well, my personal expectation is I would expect that the coaching crew will do well to go all out to scout for players. I had expressed reservation with the crop of players that represented us in the just concluded Nations Cup, that of course the Super Falcons didn't do so well. I would expect that the coaches will come back home now that our Nigerian Women Football League is gaining momentum, that they will surely go ahead to come back home to be able to scout for players that will be fielded in the Nations Cup. I am not one who supports the idea that we should have all foreign-based players. Let us have an infusion of players from back home, players who have strength, players who have been tested, players who have gone through the rigor of football back home. And if that is done, I am looking forward to congratulating the coaching crew. And finally, I would also want the Ibrahim Gusau-led NFF board to do well to ensure that the welfare of these girls are well catered for. Let us transit from that era where we have our national team players protesting that they have not been paid their benefits and allowances. It should be spontaneous.
Okay, let's take you straight to the next questions. What are your personal expectations? Like I said, you have been to this women game. You have a club that have been bringing talents over the years. So what are your personal expectations as far as Super Falcons is concerned in the World Cup?
Well, I think the Falcons, if there is anyone that can do it or even lift the World Cup, the Women's World Cup, it is the Super Falcons. We are the team to beat. Because if you judge from the Chiba days, the Asisa Doshiola, and several other Nigerian female players across the world, they are doing so excellently well. And Nigeria is one of the most sorted after country when it comes to hunting for female talents. So I think that the Super Falcons has all that it takes. With a commitment, with a little commitment from both the federal government and the NFF, and the coaching crew, I know that we have all it takes. And this is drawing from the background of what we had the Flamingos do. Nobody expected the Flamingos within a short space of time that they were in camp. These are girls who were inexperienced, who have never been exposed to international football, but look at the glory they brought Africa.
All right, before we leave you, Barrister Ide, let's say congratulations to you because you are one of the 16 nominees to be awarded by Sportville this year. How do you feel about that, Barrister?
Well, literally, as you ask this question, I am getting goose pimples because it is not oftentimes that people who labor in our dear nation will be picked and recognized without lobbying. When I got a call from Sportville informing me that I've been nominated for an award in recognition of the several works we have done over time with relation to sports in Nigeria, and particular emphasis on the women's game, we were elated because at least an organization that is sport-oriented, that is global like yours, is recognizing our effort. And I think that anything good cannot hide. And that is why Sportsville has consistently recognized what we're doing. And now we have been nominated along with several other critical stakeholders who have done so well in sports, like the 15 names that you mentioned. When I looked at the list and I saw the Shoname and all the people that Sportsville have been able to identify, I knew that this is a different award. It is not one of those awards that you have to pay for, but you have to work in order to earn.
All right, thank you so much, Barrister, for your time today. I want to say thank you for joining us. Of course, we know that you will always be available for us anytime, any day when it comes to women football.
Well, I can assure you that all things being equal, I should personally grace that event to honor the good work that Sportsville is doing in Nigeria and the world at large. Thank you so much for giving me the privilege. I can't but just come for the awards.
I'm Barrister Sajo Mohammed, the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National League. I enjoy watching Sportville every week, so stay tuned with them.
Welcome back. Tony, you had Eddie there talking about the Super Falcons, talking about Randy's projection, talking about the Sportsville Award, all combined.
Yeah, Frank, I think Eddie knows, because somebody, that's just what he does for a living, of course, bringing up, very talented players. He has just said it all here, and I think that, like they say, he who has ears must listen. I think that Randy Wardrum's assessment and procrastination, everything on the World Cup, regarding the Super Falcons. For me,
but George does not seem to share your views.
For me, it's myopic. I do not know where George is coming from, but then
George is coming from Bokpala. He just came from Bokpala, so you can understand where he's coming from. We'll take a break. When we come back now, we'll talk about the Nigerian League. Like I said, it's going full blast this weekend. Last week or 2 weeks ago, it was Aqua United versus Insurance, but the Bender team smiled home with 3 solid points. After this break.
I'm Barrister Sajo Mohammed, the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National League. I enjoy watching Sportsville every week, so stay tuned with them.
We're on the home stretch now, and we're talking about the Nigerian Professional League. Tony Ubani is still here, Francisca is also here, and George Aluo is also very, very fresh from Ngokpala, where they take a lot of palm wine. The man is looking very fresh, but let's look at the fixture, Tony. This weekend we have Rangers versus Abia Warriors, Plus United versus 3SC, Nasarawa versus Enyema, Bayelsa versus Dakata, Doma versus Sunshine, Kwara, Gombe, Remo Star will be hosting Academy, Wiki Tories versus Tornadoes, River United versus Lobby Star. Those are the features for this week.
Yes, Frank, I think the Rangers and Abia Warriors.
That's your star match?
Yeah, I think that's our classical,
the Oriental Warriors.
Yes, it's going to be an Oriental war. And indeed, I think that the battle has started. From what we have seen, Bendel Insurance moving out, starting it on a very grand style, hitting Aqua United 2-0, collecting the maximum points. Frank, I think that Bendel have just, knocked a very serious sign that almost everybody must get ready. When you are coming from, from the lower cadre and then coming to beat a very high club like Aqua United, I think that, that dangerous bell has been, sounded, and then everybody must get ready.
All right, so much coming from Edo State. Bendel, of course, Insurance just unveiled their jerseys. Same thing with the Edo Queens. It's one team that is ready to fly this season. But let's put that aside. Cotonou was in Benin, going to take us more. But then let us come back home. Now, issue of officiating, George, are you confident that this year officiating will be better? Based on what the sign we saw in Aqua?
From what the interim management committee has done,
yes,
the fact that the referees will get their indemnity directly, so that will reduce the level of inducement.
Upfront, just upfront, yes.
So that will reduce the level of inducement. And again, the Nigerian League, well, it's still early in the day. We'll have a way of starting well. IMC should watch out for the second stanza. But at this beginning of the league,
what are your fears?
By the time the second stanza comes in, clubs will be desperate to want to win. But at this level, I want to see a good game between Abia Warriors and Rangers at the Oka City Stadium. It's going to be a thriller of a game, and I expect good officiating. Teams should be able to pick points away at this level, Frank.
Tony Ubani, like I told you earlier, was in Benin, where it was another showstopper for Insurance and Edo Queens. Tony, tell us what happened in Benin.
Frank, I know that we do not have the time, but I must tell you that Bendel Insurance are doing professional things. For the very first time, Frank, I'm seeing a club coming up, talking about unveiling their jerseys. I don't think it has happened, in these Nigerian clubs. And of course, there were an array of sponsors that they gathered, and those sponsors were present. And all of them came, collected jerseys in a very atmosphere, very conducive, a football atmosphere. Frank, and of course, Honorable Philip Shaibu spoke glowingly about his plans for the, Bendel Insurance. And for the first time, Frank, we know that players now will be gingered, into playing and, of course, giving so much commitment because their salaries, Bendel Insurance do not owe salaries. Bringing a lot of innovations for them, Frank.
Let me move on to that. See, Insurance is the only team that don't wash their jerseys.
Absolutely, Frank.
Use one jersey
that's
per
another
match,
one.
and after each match, all the jerseys are given out to fans.
Frank, for the first time.
Tony, I think I wasn't in Benin, but one thing that excites me is the fact that Right Honorable Shaibu said that money generated from the sale of jerseys was what they used to buy 2 coaster buses for Eloquence and Insurance.
And of course, in Nigerian League, George, we also know that Nigerian players do not give out jerseys.
All right, thank you so much, Tony.
That's what Bendel Insurance are using.
There's so much story to tell, not just story.
From all indications, Tony must have been giving monkey meat to eat in Benin.
You can't go to Benin, without having good story to tell.
Exactly.
Especially when it comes to sport. Okay, because for instance, Edo State is the only one that pay the same salary. The men
with male and female.
Even in America, just for their case, Edo State do the leagues. Exactly. So there's so much story, good story to tell when you go to Edo State. That's what Tony is doing. Welcome back, Tony.
Frank, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. There's so much time, but let's quickly go for the Super Sunday. This afternoon, it's going to be Tottenham versus Arsenal and Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. Of course, in the La Liga, you have America versus Atletico Madrid. That is the fixture for today. Super Sunday indeed. We'll see you again next week. Thank them very much.
Fantastic Super Sunday is going to be, and I'm sure that America may just spring a surprise against Atletico Madrid.
All right, that's the show. Next week, we'll be back again bigger and better. We'll see you next Sunday.
Roger that.